Lana Del Rey, Bluebird, let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. We got a good show for you today because today we're talking about Lana Del Rey. She just dropped a new song called Bluebird. I guess it's kind of in the similar vein as the last song that we checked out, which I really enjoyed too. But guys, let's just get into it because, we got to talk about this song because, starting off with my first point about this song, the instrumental. Let's just take a moment and let's just talk about this beautiful ass instrumental. I really love Lana Del Rey's, instrumental work. I've never really reviewed Lana Del Rey on this show. This is kind of like the first time ever really talking about her. But, Lana Del Rey is an example of an artist that I kind of look at, and I look at all these, other, more acoustic instrumental, or I look at these more, blues type singers, or I look at these, newer country singers, or I look at all of these genres. And then I look at Lana Del Rey and I'm seeing, the multi-genre elements that are just in this song alone really show Lana Del Rey is on a whole different level than any of these other newer artists that are out here. And, why do I say this? Well, let's get into it, because Bluebird, the instrumental is absolutely so goddamn beautiful. When you listen to it, I mean, holy shit. First of all, I really love the guitar on here, and I'm really shocked and surprised that somehow the guitar on this song feels a whole lot different than what we had on the last song. Yes, the last song was very focused on the guitar, the acoustic instrumental elements, but this is that same vibe, but kind of turned up, which is, I'm very shocked to be saying this on my show.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss. Oof, like wind in your hair carefree. Oh, like using Clorox disinfecting all-purpose cleaner in the home carefree. Yes. Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox carefree. He's on a roll now. Spit toothpaste on the faucet. You got it. You got it. Peanut butter on the light switch. Oh, spritz, spritz. Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the U.S. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength, Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Lana Del Rey turning it up even more with this acoustic instrumental sound. First of all, I really love the blues sounding this guitar has. I love that the personality that the acoustic instrumental has on its own. For one, I love the strings in the back. The strings have such good build-up. I love the sound of them. I love the mixing on them too. They kind of feel vintage as you're listening to them, but they're not a main part of the song. They're kind of just that background help to really... It's not a main part of the song, which I really gosh darn dang enjoy. It's like eating a really good homemade apple pie. This apple pie is so fresh when you take a bite of it. But, that sweetness is not the main factor of an apple pie. No, the freshness of the apples, the freshness of the crust, all of these other little elements, which I'm going to discuss here, really come through on this instrumental. For one, I love the strings. You also have a little bit of a harmonica type sound too in the back, really doing its thing, which is really fire in my opinion. It really brings life to the instrumental, and this instrumental doesn't feel electronic. It doesn't feel like, we're putting a bunch of loops together, because this instrumental actually feels really cohesive as you listen to it. It doesn't feel like a bunch of guitar loops that are just placed in a little bit of a sequence and then that's kind of it. No, this instrumental actually has something to it. And I really do enjoy that. And I love the ending of the instrumental too. That just little, like, this build-up reaches its climax at the very end. And you just don't get that with a lot of songs to this day. You don't get a lot of songs that actually, prioritize the build-up, actually bring out the build-up, actually really show out the build-up, and actually deliver on the build-up. You don't get that very often when you listen to songs like this. So I really enjoy that we get those elements, and it just makes the instrumentals so much more fun to listen to. I love the guitar. It's kind of grungy, but also it's got that vintage sound too to it, and it's also, very cohesive throughout the whole instrumental, and actually has its own goddamn personality, which really comes through. But, the instrumental is not everything, guys. The instrumental is just one part of the song. We have to get into the first verse from Lana Del Rey, which I'm going to say this. Lana Del Rey comes on here and starts singing really fucking well. I was surprised, what do I mean by, Lana Del Rey really turns it up on this song? Well, the first verse in itself, Lana Del Rey.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Is already switching up her vocals. She's already switching up her flows of how she's singing, which is really coming through. I love the moments of when we get moments of powerful vocals from Lana Del Rey. I mean, holy goddamn shit. She just starts singing her ass off. Just these little moments of singing her ass off. And I really like that, because those little moments of singing her ass off, really switching up her vocals, are elements where you're going to be able to go back and listen to over and over and over again. I mean, Lord goddamn mighty, it really comes through when you listen to it. And I really like that, and I like these vocal switch-ups too, but I also like these lyrics, because I was surprised when I was listening to this song that these lyrics are kind of, poetry in a sense. It's like a Taylor Swift song, but a little bit more chillax, a little bit, not really giving the elements of a Taylor Swift type song. No, it's just kind of like poetry as you're listening to it, like a beautiful, painting is being painted when you're listening to this song. I mean, holy goddamn shit. I really like the overall flow of that first verse, and then we get into my next point, which is the hook. The hook comes in, the Bluebird hook is in, and I think this Bluebird hook is so good. When those strings come in, when that harmonica's in the back really going crazy, and then that guitar really starts, really showing its personality. The chords on the guitar are switching up, and this instrumental is actually really fully coming together, really kind of unwrapping in front of your eyes and really showing out, in my goddamn opinion. And all of these elements come to a point where Lana Del Rey starts singing her ass off on the hook. And I think, this hook is really addicting. I like how this hook is not overplayed. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not like a cut and copy paste thing. I really enjoy that too. To be able to hear 2025 music and to be able to still kind of discuss, a little bit of some, I would say, more vintage elements these days in music, because I listen to newer music these days, and you're not going to be getting this sound quite often at all. So I really enjoy that too. It's just so beautiful. This hook is really beautiful. And then we get that second verse, which that second verse does even more, which I was really shocked by, because the second verse is kind of, the climax is climaxing. This climax is ending. And the first verse, I love the buildup of that, of the powerful vocals there. But I really like how Lana Del Rey kind of switches her whole vocals, kind of switches her whole style, because this instrumental is rising with her vocals. And that's what I really need to kind of draw the line, guys, with, this type of music. This is an example of actually doing more acoustic instrumentals right. This is an example of how you should probably, feel. You should probably, give this emotion out. As the song is building up, Lana Del Rey vocals are building up. Her flows are building up. The passion in her vocals are building up. And they're building up with the instrumental. And that really fucking makes it where, holy shit, finally, a song where you can really connect with. A song where you're not going, all right, when are we gonna get to the hook? The second verse is whatever. Let's get to the hook now. No, you don't feel that, because the second verse is building. And then when we get to that final hook, that final climax, it feels warranted. It actually feels needed. So many times I listen to a song and it feels like we skip the middle part. We skip the second verse. We skip the build up to this final hook. There's a reason why the final hook feels so great to listen to, because, older songs back in the day actually were building up to it. Too many times now where, let's just get straight to the hook. Hell no. Let's build it up. Let's wait it out, because when that final moment happens, that final instrumental build fully gets out, euphoria is just going to be all throughout your brain, because it actually worked really well together. Guys, when we talk about Lana Del Rey's song Bluebird, I think the instrumental is absolutely beautiful. I think the verses were, done so well here. I love the strings. I love that harmonica sound. I love that guitar. I love this whole vibe here. And I really love those verses too. That hook goes absolutely insane. I'm going to give this track a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, guys. What y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're back, guys. New content every single day. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.